Imagine navigating the storms of life with a serene heart and a clear mind, where stress dissolves and inner peace prevails. Zen Buddhist philosophy offers timeless wisdom that transforms how we face life's challenges. Discover how mindfulness, acceptance of change, non-attachment, simplicity, and the quest for personal enlightenment can be your anchors in the tumultuous sea of modern existence. This journey is not just about coping with stress, it's about thriving amidst it, finding joy in simplicity, and cultivating a life of deep contentment and harmony. Join us as we explore these ancient principles, not as distant theories, but as practical tools for living with grace and ease in the here and now. Zen Buddhist philosophy offers a valuable approach to dealing with the stresses of modern life. Through its age-old wisdom, it teaches us how to find serenity and balance in a hectic world. Here are some basic principles of Zen Buddhism that can help you deal with stress. The practice of mindfulness, also known as mindful attention, is one of the fundamental principles of Zen Buddhism that can be extremely helpful in combating the stresses of modern life. This concept requires deep reflection and constant practice, but its benefits are invaluable. Mindfulness teaches us first and foremost to be truly present in the present moment. Often, in the hustle and bustle of daily life, we are distracted by worries related to the past or future, forgetting to live in the present moment. Zen Buddhism urges us to focus on what we are doing now, without judging or evaluating experiences. This attitude allows us to experience reality more deeply and authentically. The essence of mindfulness is acceptance without judgment. Instead of repressing emotions or thoughts, we learn to acknowledge and accept them without condemning ourselves. This helps us free ourselves from the tension that comes from the internal struggle to reject or deny our feelings. By accepting every experience with kindness and understanding, we become more tolerant of ourselves and others. Another crucial benefit of mindfulness is the ability to reduce anxiety related to the past or future. Worrying about the future or dwelling on past mistakes is a common source of stress. The consistent practice of mindfulness teaches us to break this cycle of negative thoughts, detach from worries, and bring our attention back to the present moment. When we are able to live in the here and now, we find that many of our anxieties lose their relevance. This means that we are able to experience greater peace of mind, even when we face challenges or stressful situations. The practice of mindfulness provides us with tools to manage our reactions to stress more effectively, enabling us to deal with it calmly and clearly. Mindfulness, therefore, is a powerful tool of Zen Buddhism that helps us find peace and balance in modern life. It invites us to be present, accept who we are, and reduce anxiety related to the past or future. This practice can become an invaluable guide for dealing with daily stress with serenity and mindfulness. The element of acceptance of change is one of the fundamental pillars of Zen Buddhist philosophy. This principle is based on the profound understanding that everything in life is impermanent. In other words, nothing remains constant or unchanging. Everything from situations to emotions, from nature to relationships, is subject to constant and unstoppable change. To fully understand this concept, we must first rid ourselves of the illusion that stability and permanence are the norm. This illusion is often the root of much of our suffering and stress. In a world characterized by a ceaseless flow of events and situations, trying to resist change is like trying to hold water in an open hand. It is a futile effort that inevitably leads to frustration and distress. Zen Buddhism teaches us instead to flow with change, to accept it with an open heart and without resistance. This does not mean passively surrendering to circumstances or giving up on our goals, but rather adopting a flexible mindset that allows us to adapt to challenges more effectively. Instead of fighting against the natural flow of life, we learn to navigate it gracefully. Acceptance of change also involves an important dose of humility. We recognize that we do not have complete control over external circumstances, but we can control our response to them. This awareness frees us from the tension and stress that often result from the struggle for total control. In practice, when we apply this principle to our daily lives, we learn not to cling rigidly to things, people, or expectations. We realize that nothing is permanent, not even our emotional state or current situation. This awareness enables us to develop greater resilience and face the challenges of modern life with an open mind, without the burden of stress and worry. Acceptance of change in Zen Buddhism therefore teaches us to flow with the constant flow of life, avoid unnecessary resistance, and live with greater serenity and balance. It is a powerful tool for dealing with the stresses of modern life, enabling us to adapt to challenges with an open and flexible mind. The principle of non-attachment, also known as non-attachment to objects in Zen Buddhism, is an invaluable guide for coping with the stresses of modern life. This teaching invites us to free ourselves from the excessive attachment to material things, interpersonal relationships, and expectations that often oppress us. In a society that often values the possession of material possessions as indicators of success and happiness, non-attachment reminds us that excessive attachment to objects can lead to a sense of insecurity and fear of loss. We often seek happiness through the accumulation of material possessions, but when these possessions are threatened or lost, we experience anxiety and stress. Zen Buddhism teaches us that we can still appreciate and enjoy material things, but without being enslaved by them. This balance allows us to reduce the stress associated with accumulation and the constant search for new things. In addition, non-attachment helps us overcome the incessant competition that characterizes modern society. We often feel we are constantly competing with others, both in the professional and personal worlds. Attachment to social expectations and the pursuit of success based on comparison can cause a considerable amount of stress. However, when we embrace non-attachment, we stop comparing ourselves with others and trying to meet others' expectations. Instead, we focus on our individual path, freeing our minds from unnecessary worries and competitive anxieties. The essence of non-attachment in Zen Buddhism is awareness of our relationship with things and people, recognizing that nothing is eternally ours. This does not mean that we should completely deny our relationships or possession of objects, but rather that we should embrace these aspects of life with a lighter and less attached perspective. In this way, we become more resilient to stress, less affected by emotional swings related to external events, and more able to maintain our inner serenity. Non-attachment in Zen Buddhism teaches us that true happiness and inner peace come from freedom from attachment and the ability to accept life's challenges and imperfections with grace. It is a principle that can guide us in creating a more balanced and serene lifestyle in the hustle and bustle of modern life. Zen Buddhist philosophy teaches us that simplicity is a valuable virtue for reducing stress in modern life. This fundamental principle encourages us to simplify our existences, to minimize our needs and desires, and to focus on what is really important. In a modern world characterized by a constant bombardment of information, distractions, and social pressures, it becomes increasingly difficult to maintain mental clarity and inner serenity. Often we find ourselves trapped in a spiral of insatiable desires, in which we continually seek to accumulate material goods, social status, or professional success in order to feel fulfilled. This incessant pursuit inevitably leads to high levels of stress and dissatisfaction. Simplicity, according to Zen philosophy, encourages us to break free from this cycle of dissatisfaction and anxiety. By reducing our needs and desires, we learn to live with less, to value what is truly essential to our well-being. This does not mean completely giving up life's pleasures or goals, but rather adopting a more sober and conscious perspective toward what we consider necessary. Living a simpler and less cluttered life has numerous benefits. First, it allows us to free ourselves from the oppression of constant competition. Often in modern society, we are driven to compare ourselves with others in a relentless struggle for success, wealth, or popularity. Simplicity allows us to escape this unbridled rush, focusing instead on what makes us truly happy, regardless of what others do or have. Moreover, simplicity frees us from the burden of accumulation and overconsumption. By reducing the desire to own more material things, we reduce our addiction to consumerism and help preserve the environment. This not only makes us feel lighter, but also helps us experience a feeling of gratitude for what we already have, rather than focusing on what we lack. Finally, living a simple life allows us to devote more time and energy to the things that really passion and enrich us inwardly, such as relationships, creativity, contemplation, and personal growth. These activities can bring a deeper sense of satisfaction and contentment, greatly reducing stress related to external pressures. Simplicity is thus a key principle of Zen Buddhist philosophy that teaches us to simplify our lives to reduce the stress and tension of modern life. By embracing simplicity, we can enjoy greater serenity, freedom, and contentment while maintaining our inner well-being and connection with what is truly meaningful in our existence. The concept of emptiness and interdependence are fundamental pillars of Zen philosophy that invite us to explore the nature of reality and our relationship with it. Emptiness, or sunyata in Sanskrit, does not refer to an absence of meaning or value, but rather to the idea that reality is inherently insubstantial and mutable. This concept goes beyond the mere perception of things and people as distinct and permanent entities, prompting us to recognize that everything is constantly evolving. Moreover, Zen philosophy teaches us that the separate ego is an illusion. We often perceive ourselves as isolated individuals, separated from the rest of the world. However, this perception of separation is a mental construction that leads us to seek our own well-being at the expense of others, or to feel isolated when things go wrong. Understanding interdependence means recognizing that we are all connected in an intricate web of relationships. One person's actions and choices impact others, and vice versa. This deep understanding of interdependence opens the way for us to develop empathy and compassion. When we recognize that others are an integral part of our existence, and that their sufferings are somehow connected to ours, we become more inclined to be compassionate and to help others in times of distress. Awareness of this interconnectedness reduces the sense of isolation we often experience in modern life, where technology and daily hustle and bustle can contribute to a sense of alienation. In short, embracing the concept of emptiness and interdependence in Zen philosophy paves the way for us to have a greater understanding and connection with the world around us. This in turn reduces the stress associated with isolation and individualism, creating a basis for a more meaningful life and deeper relationships with others. The quest for personal enlightenment is one of the fundamental principles of Zen Buddhism and is a path to deep understanding of oneself and the world around us. This principle teaches us that truth and wisdom are not external concepts, but must be discovered within ourselves. Here is how this process can help us manage the stresses of modern life more effectively. Meditation is a key tool on this path. Through the practice of Zen meditation, we learn to sit in silence and observe our thoughts, emotions, and feelings without judgment. This inner awareness allows us to get in touch with our deepest essence, beyond the superficial concerns and distractions of daily life. As we meditate, we become more aware of the ways in which our thinking can generate stress and anxiety, and we learn to distance ourselves from such disturbing thoughts. Reflection is another crucial aspect of the quest for personal enlightenment. After a meditation session, we can spend time reflecting on the insights and perceptions we have had. This allows us to put the problems and challenges of modern life into perspective, making them less overwhelming. We can come to understand that many of the daily concerns are ephemeral and do not deserve the energy we often invest in them. Moreover, as we develop our quest for personal enlightenment, we become less dependent on external sources of happiness and satisfaction. Often modern stress is linked to a relentless pursuit of external gratification, such as professional success, material wealth, or social recognition. Zen Buddhism teaches us that true happiness and meaning in life come from our inner self, from connecting with our deepest self. Through constant practice of meditation and reflection, we develop greater mental resilience. We become able to face daily challenges with a calmer and more serene attitude, maintaining a broader perspective on life and its difficulties. This helps us greatly reduce the stress associated with pressure, social expectations, and daily worries. The quest for personal enlightenment in Zen Buddhism is then an inner path that helps us discover the truth and wisdom within ourselves. This process reduces the relevance of external sources of stress, as it allows us to develop a deeper connection with ourselves and a clearer understanding of life. With a calmer mind and an open heart, we can face the challenges of modern life with more balance and resilience. The concept of non-competition in Zen Buddhism is deeply rooted in the philosophy and approach to life. Instead of seeing life as a constant race to beat others and achieve success at all costs, Zen Buddhism teaches us that the real challenge lies in overcoming ourselves, our fears, limitations, and preconceptions. This approach has important implications for dealing with stress in modern life. When we focus on external competition, we often find ourselves constantly anxious and stressed, worrying about not living up to expectations or comparing ourselves to others. This stress can manifest itself in the form of anxiety, depression, and insecurity, creating a negative cycle that can damage our mental and physical health. However, by embracing the principle of non-competition, we learn to shift our focus from the outside to the inside of ourselves. This means recognizing that each of us has our own unique path and personal challenges to face. We are no longer concerned with being better than others, but rather with constantly improving ourselves, growing as individuals, and discovering our potential. This perspective offers numerous benefits to combat stress. First, it frees us from the constant pressure of having to prove something to others or to win in competition that is often unsustainable. This greatly reduces the sense of competition and comparison, which are often sources of anxiety and stress. In addition, non-competition encourages us to focus on our personal growth. It pushes us to be more aware of ourselves, our abilities and weaknesses, and motivates us to constantly improve. This personal growth can lead to greater self-esteem and self-confidence, which are crucial for dealing with stress more effectively. By embracing non-competition, we develop greater empathy and compassion for others. We recognize that everyone is facing their own struggles and that we should not judge them or compete with them. This compassion helps us create healthier relationships and reduce interpersonal tensions, which can also be sources of stress in modern life. Non-competition is thus a key principle of Zen Buddhism that helps us deal with stress in modern life. It encourages us to focus on personal growth, reduce the pressure of external competition, and cultivate compassion toward ourselves and others. This perspective helps us live a more balanced and peaceful life despite daily challenges. Compassion is a central pillar in Zen Buddhist philosophy and plays a key role in managing stress arising from interpersonal conflicts and tensions in modern life. This principle teaches us to adopt a compassionate attitude toward both ourselves and others, helping to promote healthier and more harmonious relationships. 1. Compassion toward self. Often in our fast-paced modern society, we put ourselves under pressure and over-criticize ourselves. The practice of self-compassion in Zen Buddhism teaches us to treat ourselves with kindness and love, recognizing that we are human beings susceptible to mistakes and limitations. This allows us to free ourselves from guilt and remorse, thereby reducing the emotional burden and stress associated. 2. Compassion toward others. Compassion is not limited to ourselves, it is extended to others as well. In Zen Buddhism, we learn to see the world through the eyes of others, to be empathetic and understanding of the challenges others face. This enables us to avoid premature judgments and to respond to conflict situations with an open mind and compassionate heart. 3. Conflict reduction. Compassion helps prevent and resolve interpersonal conflicts. When we are willing to understand others' perspectives and listen without prejudice, we are more likely to find peaceful solutions instead of fueling arguments or resentments. This goes a long way toward reducing the stress associated with conflict and tension in relationships. 4. Creating more authentic relationships. The practice of compassion enables us to establish more authentic and meaningful relationships with others. When we are willing to show kindness, understanding, and support, people around us feel valued and accepted. This creates an environment of mutual trust and connection, greatly reducing tension and stress in relationships. Compassion is a powerful tool that helps us deal with stresses arising from interpersonal conflicts and tensions in modern life. By cultivating compassion toward ourselves and others, we can promote healthier relationships, reduce conflict, and improve our overall quality of life, contributing to our well-being and greater serenity in our daily existence. In summary, Zen Buddhist philosophy offers us a way to find calmness and inner peace in modern life. By practicing these principles, we can deal with stress with a more balanced and resilient perspective, enabling us to live happier and more harmonious lives.